It's time to get back to a simple, pure, authentic love for hunting. No more overcomplicating or changing our heritage. Join host Shane Mowry, the Bone Maniac, as he brings you a real look at hunting. It doesn't take fame or fortune. It's for everyone. It's a way of life. It's in our DNA.
All right, folks. Tonight we have a special guest on, Jim Huntsman from the Western Huntsman Podcast. And we're two guys that just don't give a fuck.
Man, that's one of my favorite intros ever.
Yes, that's for sure, man. But in all seriousness, Jim and I has been looking to catch up for a long time with our busy schedule. And I'm glad to just sit down and chew the fat with you, brother.
Man, I'm excited to be here. You're one of my favorite people, dude. I wish we didn't live so far away, because I'd come and bug you in the bow shop and stuff a little more often. My daughter blew up one of the bows that we got from you, and I gotta go take it in and get all the strings put back on. I don't know what the hell she was doing, but something.
Well, yeah, close, man. We get that thing in working order. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. They love them, man. Dude. I'm not kidding you, man. I had them all set up. They probably sent 1,000 arrows down range in like a month. They were out there for hours. It was a ball. It was so much fun.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I mean, I noticed even you send in photos and stuff like that. You had them both out on elk hunts this year, man. And that's just a special time. By daughter and dad time out in the woods, elk hunting, teaching them things, man. That's awesome stuff. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's the first time, Shane, that like I've ever truly made an exception to the fact that I like to hunt solo. I like to be alone. I like to be out there by myself. But where I make an exception is taking the girls out is like something else, and it's twofold. A, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and they love it too. But B, I can't hear very well, which is also why I'm wearing headphones while we record this. I'm really deaf, especially in my left ear. So I'd take them out, man, and they'd hear elk bugling all over the place where I didn't hear them. I didn't know. I wonder how many elk I've like totally missed opportunities on because I have shit for hearing.
My eyesight's going bad, so we're just two old guys, man.
Yeah, two crusty old buggers, man, ready to talk smack.
Talk smack and drink whiskey. I'm all for it.
Yeah, brother. Well, cheers to you.
Mm-hmm. Pendleton.
I'm doing the bullet bourbon.
Oh,
that orange label bullet. It's good stuff, dude.
Oh yeah. Is that they have like a rye brand, right? Or
yeah, they do have a rye. I'm kind of a bourbon guy. And what I like about it, man, is I don't get super hungover on it. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's like a old man whiskey or what, but I don't have like major headaches.
Oh, no kidding. I'm gonna have to get you over a bottle of the Team Whiskey stuff, the their bourbon stuff. So I gotta get you over that. So
dude, that's good stuff. I bought a bottle because I saw you were doing like a hunt with those guys.
Yeah.
And I actually bought a bottle and I really liked it, and I haven't been able to find it up here since. We have we have one of those small town liquor stores where I live, and there's just not much in it, and so they don't have that one.
Oh man, well we gotta remedy that.
Yeah, man,
can't go without good whiskey.
That's right. You wouldn't hear me complaining if you sent one of those.
I got you covered, man. That sounds like, hey, man, Christmas come around, you know.
That's right. I'll figure out. We'll do an exchange. I'll send you something. You send me some bourbon, and we'll just be brothers from another mother.
I like it, man. I like it. Heck yeah, man. Let's dive into something here, man. This is about a hot topic as we can get into, and I'm sure you've got one. Every bear hunter, houndsman in Idaho has probably received this survey.
Yeah, I took it.
What do you take on that, man?
So it was first of all, it was really frustrating because of I remember when I opened the email, they're like, oh, it's going to be 5 minutes or something like that. And it just like the questions just kept coming. And it was like the same question, but worded differently and all gearing towards, I felt like they were trying to create this rift between houndsmen and bait hunters and, spot and stock guys. I don't know. It's weird for me, man, because I just recently moved from Clark Fork, Idaho to Heron, Montana. So, geographically, they're right next door. I could still throw a rock into Idaho. And I've got that lifetime hunting license. So I'm always going to hunt bear in Idaho because you could bait, and I love baiting. And I've had bears run off my bait a million times by houndsmen, but I also know how to set baits where houndsmen, the hounds aren't going to pick that scent up from the road. And so it's never been a problem for me. And I'm always leery whenever we have like a fish and game agency that, and I'm not totally dogging on the IDFG because they do a lot of great things too, but fuck, this thing is a mess. I don't know where they're going with it. And that's what scares me is I feel like they're trying to come up with reasons to start limiting these seasons. And, making bait hunters mad at houndsmen and houndsmen mad at spot and stock and like pitting each other against. It was just weird the way the questions were.
Super weird, man. And it's a precursor. It's definitely a precursor for to come up in meetings. There's no doubt about it. And I'd probably I can foresee change coming with those. And it's a shame too. And it's like you said, I'm a houndsman. I have hounds, and I have had, but I bait too. One thing I don't do in my area, same way with where you lived up there too. Spot and stock is, we're too claustrophobic. It's too timberized, so spot and stock is, we're not shooting at them 700 yards away. You know what I mean?
Man.
So, I want to be up close and personal with everything I kill anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm really not, and we're not demographically spot and stock people, right? Or demographic.
It's just, I think that's a different, there's a lot of hunters that really like that long range stuff. And it's a different experience and good for them. But for me, I have two problems. I'm like you, man. I like to be up close and personal. My daughter spit a bullet right over the back of a bear at like 30 yards. And it was because it was my fault. I knocked the scope out on our way up there. I was wondering. But anyway, the thing is, dude, is like when I just said this on a recent podcast, if anybody was listening to mine, that where we were talking about the nuances of North Idaho. Spot and stock's really not much of an option here. It's like that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they're all in the grass. That's what North Idaho looks like, including your area. Yeah. You get a little more opened up down there, but not much. So
not in the timber where I don't want to see people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the same thing with, if you're a smart hunter, you're not going to have a houndsman come across your bait, because for one, you're not going to set it right along the road, because really, I'm guilty of it. A lot of houndsmen are guilty of it. They just run the roads, man. They're just waiting for that dog to do the work, so, but there are folks like me that I'm going to get out and I'm going to run that drainage. So there's a chance that 8 miles up the drainage, I will hit your bait.
Yeah.
But hey, that's just hunting. That's public land. That's my right.
And here's the thing, dude. Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off? Sorry. We got a little delay here.
No. But it's just basically, just one of those things I was saying. That's just the nature of public land hunting.
And it doesn't affect the bait site that much, man. So I have 2 bait sites, and I've got cameras on both, and it would be kind of cool because I'd see a bear go running by at like 9 a.m. and then at like 9:32, here come the hounds, and then at like 9:55, here comes the houndsman behind him, right? And then by 11 o'clock, that same bear is back on that bait site. So it's not like they're ruining your bait site unless you're actively sitting on it and they go running by. But again, I I did a YouTube video as to how to set up your bait site so that you're not drawing the hounds from the road. And it's not that hard.
No.
Where people have an issue with it is these guys that don't want to actually do any real hard work. And I don't mean that to be mean, but if your bait site is 100 yards off a dirt road, the hounds are going to pick up bears that are traveling to it. Like, you got to get that sucker. My bait site, the closest to the road and one of my bait sites is 3/4 of a mile away. And I never, on that particular site, I've never had a houndsman come on that. And I'm curious what you think, Shane, about like where this survey came from. Why did they send that out? Do you think that there's, like, what's your take on that? Why did they send that out?
I have my theories, and you probably will agree with this. I think Idaho. I mean, I remember Montana years ago having the same type of survey, and they took out hound hunting, and then we got it back 2 years ago. So I kind of remember this, and if my memory serves me correctly, it's like they were getting a lot of inexperienced Western hunters coming out and trying to hunt animals, bait. And I think that's what we're having here is we're getting a lot of inexperienced bear hunters coming out thinking that they're going to kill trophies. Well, for one thing, Western bear, average bear is 200 pounds, right? So there are big bear. I mean, I've killed big bear, but it's one of those things like you just got to do your homework and think, I don't know. I feel like we don't have common sense anymore. You know, I mean,
right?
The hound is going to pick up scent, man. That's his job. I mean, that's what he's bred to do. And they're going to pick up that scent right off the road, like you were saying. So I think it's complaints from non-residents. That's my theory. Because, I mean, where can you go in a Western state and still have the free will of houndsmen to go and run your hounds? I mean, it's a houndsman that's complaining. I would never complain because that's a right that I always I enjoy running hounds. And I think also, like with running hounds and baiting, I think you have a more of a chance to get less ground shrinkage on a bear. You know what I mean? So with that survey, because, you know, the questions kept coming up trophy, right? So with that too, right? So besides trying to get, you know, play the devil's advocate back and forth a little bit, you know, bait. I feel like there's been a lot of ground shrinkage on guys shooting at bears 500 and 600 yards away.
They get up on it and it's a damn raccoon.
Like, whoa,
you know,
shit,
well, what happened?
I could have swore it was 400 pounds. Like, dude, that's
it's 100 pounds per every 100 yards you shoot it at. So if it's 500 pounds or 500 yards off, then by the time you get up to it, it's a damn cub. Yeah, you know, I think you're right from that sense of you know, possibly this non-resident thing. I think it's also a lot of resident hunters. I think a lot of it comes from guys that are complaining because they're walking their bait barrel off like a main trail where, you know, it's like this main area. Because this is where I always find them, especially during elk season. I'll be like, you know, 50, 100 yards off a trailhead and just kind of, you know, wandering up to get into the backcountry or whatever. And there'll be like two bait barrels right there. And they're right off the roads, man. And it's like the bears are being drawn from below you in the drainage. They're crossing the road to get to your bait at 3:00 in the morning. And then the next day, the houndsmen are coming by and those hounds are picking up that scent. And so my theory, I guess, the question for me for like IDFG would be why? Because when you look at Idaho compared to all other states, we have one of the most aggressive predator management programs in the lower 48. And that's true for wolves. That's true for bear. It's even true for mountain lion. It's super aggressive. We could bait, we could use hounds, we could spot and stalk, we could hunt damn near 6 months out of the year. We could damn near hunt these bears. And yet
Yeah.
Every single camera I put out, whether I'm putting cameras out for mule deer or elk or bears or whatever, every single camera I have in the panhandle units, I get black bears constantly on them. I've heard numbers it's 2 to 4 bears per square mile in some of these areas. And we have so many bears. I have them. I just had one come out onto my property and steal one of my chickens. And he's going down if I could catch him. But he ate one of my chickens. Like, we have more bears here than we could shake a stick at, yet we are so aggressive in hunting them. So riddle me why we even need to make a change. It doesn't make sense.
We don't. I don't think we don't. I think there's been a lot of folks that I seriously feel that if you have 2 bear tags and if you hunt, not even just hunt diligently, you'll be able to fill both those tags. With bear.
Absolutely.
There is a problem. I mean, they're a problem that there's a lot of them. Or how would I want to say that? I wouldn't say it's not like a problem like a wolf problem. It's a problem like, I guess people making it a problem that it really shouldn't. And you're right, because we have a very aggressive kill season. We're able to take, like you said, almost 6 months out of the year. Wolves we can hunt year round,
year round, and we still have a shit ton of wolves, and it's still a problem. It's just this whole,
because I think there's a lot of bad hunters. I mean,
well, that's kind of what, that's what I was going to get to, man. Is I think that there's a lot of people that hear guys like you and I talk about, our love for bear hunting, because I love, outside of September archery elk, I love bear hunting the most. And I love spring bear. I love fall bear. Bears are, with the exception of wolves, the smartest, most like couth animal I've ever pursued. And they're amazing to watch, and they're amazing to hunt. And I think that guys get it in their head that it's like fucking killing a 2-point mule deer or something that just stands there 20 feet off the road. And bear hunting's just not like that. They're a lot smarter. They require a lot more effort and a lot more, what's the word? Finesse from a hunting standpoint. And if you're killing a bear consistently, like every year or 2 bears, you're a damn good bear hunter. They're tough.
Yeah, they know you're there. That's the thing, is they know. Oh yeah,
totally. That's why I love baiting, man.
I mean, that's the thing, is I've always said, man, is like a bear knows you're there. He can smell you. Mm-hmm. But that damn bucket of donuts is more important.
Yep. He knows he's doing something wrong when he comes in, right? But that's the beauty of baiting. You can be so picky, man. I love it when I'm sitting on a bait site and I get a sow with a couple of cubs come over, and the cubs are just playful as all get out, and they're running up and down the trees, and they're chasing each other and growling, and mama bear's over there getting pissed because she can't get it. The way I make my bait barrels, they have a hard time getting the popcorn and everything out of there. I use popcorn and I use Batum 907, man, and it is magic. Yeah. But that's another thing for a lot of guys that are baiting. Remember, you're not trying to feed the bears. You're trying to bait the bears. I've seen some bait barrels out there, man, you make it way too easy for the bears to get that shit out of there. You really got to make them work for it, and otherwise it's empty in an hour.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's the object, man. And there's ways. I mean, I'm not going to tell everybody's secret. You won't either. But there's ways that they go in and they ain't getting it all out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Have a time. It's a sticky situation, man. I don't know. I really hope that they don't change things. I think there's a lot of us resident hunters that enjoy things just the way they are.
We do.
There's management hunts or controlled hunts for bear. I used to live right next to Unit 32, down in Horseshoe Bend. So there were some tanks down there. I mean, I've seen a couple tanks. We've chased a couple tanks down there. So. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of times too is if hound hunters were to kill everything that we put up in a tree, there wouldn't be a damn bear left in Idaho. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
Same with bait hunters. Well,
yeah,
I'd kill 10 bears in a day if And that's because I know how to set my baits up. I get a lot of bears. Most of them aren't much bigger than a raccoon, but hey, some of them are.
Well, yeah, and I'm like you, man. Those things are. I just had Odin, in the blind with me this year, and just how amazed they are. I mean, he's like, Dad, that thing's just like a kid. He's over there playing in the food.
Yeah, totally, man. I love it. I love watching bears, man. It's such
So
like that dichotomy of being a hunter, man. And that word's almost too big for me, but there is this dichotomy where, like,
I don't even know what it means.
It's like the two sides, right? You remember, you're a Marine. You remember the show Full Metal Jacket, and the colonel's chewing Joker's ass. He's like, "What the hell? You have a peace sign on your helmet, and you write 'Born to Kill.'" And Joker says, "I'm trying to show the duality of man, or whatever." And that's kind of where a lot of this comes from. Is I love bears. Like I legitimately I would kidnap one of those cubs and I'd bring it home and try to raise it as my lap dog or something. I love bears, but I also love to hunt them, and they taste good. And I just to think that Idaho is going down this road where we're trying to cater to people that don't want to work for it, whether they're resident or non-resident. And they're whining about houndsmen. I just, man, it's such a dangerous road to go down, because you look at Colorado right now, and I don't mean to talk your ear off, man, but you look at Colorado, they're trying to put together a petition where they want to get rid of mountain lion, bobcat, and bear hunting. And all they need is like 130,000 signatures to put it on the ballot. And we saw what happened when, Colorado put wolves on the ballot. These these folks that don't have any connection to nature on like a real true level, like hunters do, sit there and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want wolves," even though we're not ranchers. We don't have cattle. We're not hunters. We don't see what they do to the elk herds. We don't see what they do to the mule deer populations. Blah, blah, blah. And they vote like to let these wolves come in. So what do you think is going to happen when just Denver alone has the population to outvote the rest of the state, and our hunters in Colorado are no longer going to have the ability to hunt any of these predators? It's sad.
Well, it is, man, and that's the thing. I've said this for years. It pisses me off to no end that a guy that's living in a 500 square foot flat Seattle dictate how a man that owns 20,000 acres out here ranching, he can dictate how he wants to run his farm. That shit ain't right.
It's not America.
That's not America. No, it's definitely.
It's not American. We were founded under the belief that we create our own destiny. We believe in our own freedom. We make our own decisions. We clear our own path, and we are self-reliant. We don't run our lives based on the emotional dictates of some city-dwelling hippie that doesn't know the difference between a bear and a goat's ass. I've had it with that shit, man. I have had it with these groupthink freaking liberals in these big cities, thinking that they have, because of their emotional reaction to things, that they have the say to change our lives and dictate our lives. I'm over it, and it's like we cannot tolerate this anymore.
No, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of us in that same boat, man. That's why we get on here and talk about it.
Man, you get me fired up. You got me fired up. We've only been doing this for like 20 minutes.
I know. Man. That's all right. We need to stay fired up. We never know what's ahead.
But and then what drives me crazy, is people fall for it. And when I say people, I'm talking about the propagated general populace, the people that are not hunters and they're not anti-hunters. They're just normal folks. They still like to barbecue a ribeye on Memorial Weekend, and they're just normal folks, but they don't know hunting. They've never been exposed to it. They've never been exposed to nature. They fall for the propaganda that comes from these folks that we're talking about. And I guess it's kind of a separate topic from this bear survey. But the anti-hunting folks that have this agenda to, promote the elimination of any kind of predator hunting like they're doing in Washington. Like there's this group. What is this group called? They made the wackiest post. God, my blood was boiling when I saw this post earlier today. Oh. Okay, so on Instagram, they're called the Relist Wolves campaign.
Relist Wolves. Wow.
Like, who are these people? Where do they freaking come from, man? And like they write these bizarre headlines like, did you know that wolf management programs have a profound impact on other wildlife, including our domestic dogs? And they put these weird fucking statistics. Where did you get that statistic that 40%, like they skew the number, 40% of non-target animals caught in wolf traps are domestic dogs?
Horseshit.
Okay. Where?
Yeah.
Where are you talking about? Because I Googled it. After I saw this, I Googled the shit out of this. I'm like, I can't find this information anywhere. And I'm supposed to just believe you because you're an anti-hunting, pro-wolf activist group that just wants to throw out a bunch of random information. And the problem is, like listen to this line. We need your help to raise awareness for the plight of the gray wolf. Think about that, man. The plight of the gray wolf in the Northern Rocky Mountain region. I'm sorry. We are 10 times past the objective of what the actual delisting number was to allow even anybody to manage these animals. So, and the other side of that, Shane, they're going to get managed anyway. Like you can let hunters do it, and hunters will generate the revenue to do, conservation work and all the other monies that goes to the state to help promote other conservation activities and whatnot. We all know that. Or the taxpayer that's already burdened higher than they should be is going to be stuck with that bill to manage these problem wolves that start killing cattle and start going beyond the scope of where they're supposed to be in the Northern Rocky region. It's just the same with grizzly bears. People act like, oh, let's not hunt grizzly bears because they're, protected. Well, they're still getting managed. They're still being killed, and they're being killed at greater numbers than if you just set a hunting season and let a few hunters go take care of a few of them. Yeah. It's stupid.
There's no revenue on it, and there's no justification between the hunters of doing that or letting us do what sportsmen are paid to do. In essence, we pay to do this. You know? And so it's not really exercising our ability or our rights as taxpayers. Even below that, it's like you said, it just comes right back down to just being American, so it is, man. And they don't realize that they cause more of a problem than what their stupid statistics will ever show,
Absolutely, man.
If they just look back 20 years ago from, or 20 plus years ago, 94, late 94, when they released the wolves here, and look at the decimation. I mean, you don't have to just take people's word on it or look at the objectives that are falling short on elk and deer. I mean, only thing you have to do is just ask people that's lived here for 50 years. You know what I mean? Or in the same that they let all these wolves out on. In some known areas that I've seen 5 wolves, I mean, I'm thinking, that pack's 5 strong, and then the next time you're out there, that pack's 11 strong, and you're like, holy shit, man, this was just 3 months. So there's a reason why elk are tight-lipped and they don't talk. There's a reason you don't see as many animals anymore. There's reasons for this, and these people don't see that. They just think about, oh, there's a little puppy that's getting caught in a snare. No, he's not. You're in the goddamn backcountry, you fool.
I know. And that stupid stat, man, like 47% of non-target species are dogs. No shit. Okay, so you're probably talking about out of the all the animals, these wolf traps are super freaking effective, man. Pretty much only a wolf can set one off. So you're not getting a deer stepping on it. You're not getting a bear getting his foot trapped in it. Maybe a small bear might. You're not getting raccoons. You're not getting any of these smaller animals. Mountain lions are generally not going to get their foot stuck in a wolf trap, a wolf set. So yeah, maybe of the 6 animals last year that were not wolves that stepped on a wolf trap, maybe 3.5 of them were dogs, or 2.5 of them were dogs, or whatever the stat is. Like, the number's so ridiculously low, but they make it sound like it's this thing that happens every day. 47%, and they're all domestic dogs. Fuck, no shit. I'm sorry, a magpie is not going to land on a wolf trap and fucking set it off. Like, this is so stupid. It's such a stupid statistic, but people that don't know any better will fall for it, that are otherwise good people. Yeah.
They believe it, man.
Yeah, they believe that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's it blows my mind. And that's the thing is, like, folks like us, like, need to take more of an initiative, because you hear the most negative things in the hunting.
Totally.
Oh, this YouTuber's no good, or that guy's no good. This guy's promoting this, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's how I look at things, is that, hey, you need to start educating people more on, like, this is what we need to do. You know, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a very good trapper, but I'm also aware enough to know that these wolf traps, when they're stationed to catch a wolf, you're absolutely right. A deer's not going to walk into that. You know what I mean? They're positioned just how wolves think, you know, and these effective traps, they know what they're doing.
They're weighted to an exact T. So, like, even a coyote is not going to set that trap off. And I'm a good enough trapper to know that I should not be out there trapping for wolves. So instead, I just help promote my buddies that are really, because wolf trapping has got some real serious nuances to it. And so I just let my buddy, like, I had a wolf come on my old property in Idaho there. And I'm hoping my buddy Justin Webb's going to go set a trap over there, because he's a hell of a trapper, man. That dude can trap a wolf. And that's what I do. Like, I'm going to help those guys do it, because the wolf management needs to happen. And I'm actually seeing a difference up here in the Panhandle with these guys getting really good at wolf trapping. I'm noticing fewer wolves, and I'm seeing more elk. And that like pendulum is starting to swing back because these guys are out there while we're all, you know, sitting there watching football or whatever. I don't watch football, but for those of you that do, when it's cold and winter outside, these guys are out there checking their trap lines. And so we need to support them. And you know, you can do that through that F4WM organization. They do a great job. They'll reimburse you for killing a wolf. You know, anything like that. It's super good.
Oh, it is. I mean, it is. I mean, it's and if you're out there enough, you're going to see them, you know, and it's always like, I get that question, you know, folks are always like, well, where's the wolf's at? I said, I can tell you where he's been. I can't tell you where he's at. You know,
they move too much.
I mean, there is 20-mile radius a day or a night, whatever, you know, they're on the roll, you know, so it's
absolutely
tough, man. And there's a lot of time devoted into that, you know. It sure is. I've had more run-in incidences with hounds running lions than I ever have, you know, any other way, you know.
Oh, really?
Just coming in, let's having them come in on the hounds, you know. So,
man,
which can be pretty scary.
I would love to go hound hunting with you, man. I've kind of done it with a couple of buddies, but I've never really gotten into it. I'd love to do that sometime with you. I do, man. I'll make the drive. It's not that far. It's like 3 hours for me or something.
3 hours, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's actually closer to 4 now that I'm way up here. But anyway, it'd be worth it. I'd love to do it with you. And I know we're both kind of like the same, where we hunt alone most of the time. But I'd love to go on a hound hunt with you, just to learn how you do it and what I love watching the dogs work. You know, that's just like an art form in itself, getting the dogs up to speed. It's badass, man. I'd love to do that.
Oh man, it's you know, and everyone thinks like it's an automatic catch, and I'm like, do you realize, you know, compared to a dog's sense of smell, compared to a bear, I'm like, they're not even in the same framework, you know.
No.
You know, it's like 100 octaves or a couple hundred octaves versus like 5,000. You know what I mean? It's like for that dog to really work, man. It's I don't catch everything I turn out on. But we trail a lot. We have good chases,
Yeah.
And that's that's what it's all about for me. It's
Oh, absolutely.
and I won't say my hounds are garbage, but I won't say they're the best either. So but they we get out and we work, and it's fun to watch them.
Yeah, that'd be a ball.
I'm really excited when they actually do good.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. That'd be a good time. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's the thing that sometimes hunters need to recognize is, when you can't spot and stock, if we have a unit that's got maybe the bear population's a little bit too high, right? But maybe there's like a couple of problem bears. Let's put it that way. And they're smart ass bears that, you're not going to spot and stock them. You're not going to get them into your bait. The most effective way to do that is going to be to get somebody that's an effective houndsman and get out there. They'll be able to locate that bear, hands down. It's a great, that does not mean that hound hunting is like a guaranteed hunt. It doesn't. It just really helps on those problem bears that are super smart, that are not coming out during the daylight, and those kind of things, where I just feel like a good, like, talented houndsman with his dogs is going to be able to solve problems where maybe others can't. Yeah, that
100%, 100%. It's and I think that's back to the point of the whole IDFG survey is having these effectiveness disciplines of methods of hunting, whatever you want to call it, in different regions, So, I mean, if it were to come out, just throwing it out there, I'm just thinking in my head, man, what if something does change? Well, I know, like in, the southern units, even Frank Church, right? I mean, you can shoot for miles if you want. So, there's units that pretty much require you to be able to shoot long range. So it's like implementing these tactics into units that actually make sense, instead of take away from units that don't make sense. That would be my suggestion, if it come down to push the shove. But I still don't see where, having a face off between the three disciplines is the right answer. If they're looking for more of a trophy hunt, well, I don't know. I'll go back to the thing. It's like, I've seen more ground shrinkage on guys that shoot things long distance than I do if a guy's looking right at it face to face.
Totally.
So,
totally.
So it's like,
I think sometimes the guys that are like committed trophy hunters, so-called, and by saying that, I'm defining trophy hunter as somebody who's looking, they're very focused on finding the most mature animal they could find, the biggest bear, the oldest buck, whatever. And I'm fine with people that want to do that. It's not like I have a problem with that. But
sure.
I don't think that should dictate to the rest of us. Like, I'm looking for that average bear. Sure. Do I want to shoot a 500-pound black bear? Absolutely, man. I'd love to. I see him on my cameras. What's that?
I said, we'll go to Canada.
Right. I mean, we'll go to Canada, but let's face it, like in the panhandle region of Idaho, those bears are few and far between, that caliber of bear. And it's to me, to take away somebody else's ability to pursue their craft the way they want to is more important than the like 10% of people that are strictly trophy hunters and are just like we depend on that meat. That's what we like, that bear meat. I'm not shooting cubs. I'm not shooting little teeny bears, but I'm not shooting monsters. And I'm okay with that. I don't care. Any bear is a trophy, in my opinion. Like you don't ever see coyote hunters get, people picking on them because they shot a little teeny coyote. A coyote is a coyote, man. Right. Bears are kind of the same thing. I don't do it for predator management or from a sense of, I just killed a bear and I saved a bunch of fawns or calves or whatever. Sure. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't care. The point is you got out there as a hunter and you killed a freaking bear. Be proud of it. And it's a tough hunt. And so I don't think that the trophy hunter should negate everybody else. And the weird thing with that survey, man, is it's like no matter how you answered the question, it would come back and be like, well, what about in this case? Now, do you hate houndsmen? Wait a minute. Oh, no, you don't anymore. Okay, well, how about now? Let's ask it this way. Now, do you hate houndsmen? And it was weird. Like, I've just never – it was confusing. In fact, I got like 3/4 of the way through it, and I pushed submit. I didn't finish it. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, just ask me straight questions. Send me a thing that says, hey, do you support houndsmen? Yes or no? Do you support baiting? Yes or no? Do you want to see bigger bears in Idaho? No shit. Does that mean I want to take away, reduce, or eliminate any of my seasons? Hell no. We have plenty of bears. There's no reason for it. And I'm sure if anybody wants to send me hate mail over what I send it to Shane Mowry at bonemaniac.com or whatever your email address is.
That's right. And you'll get one of these.
No, I'm totally kidding. You can send me hate mail all you want. Jim at thewesternhuntsman.com. That is Jim at thewesternhuntsman.com. I love it. Well, I'll argue with you.
You're right, man. It's I think there's a bigger problem in Idaho for wildlife than bear.
That's a great point.
There's way bigger problem than a bear, and our mule deer population is on a decline. I don't care what anybody says. Our mule deer has been on a decline for years. Our elk have definitely, they've been on. Like, there is a problem until management numbers. I still believe wolf is definitely the utmost predator in the woods. A lion, I have absolute most respect for a lion. It's the most methodical killer out there, and it only kills what it needs. It's not going to kill just for the sake of killing. Like wolves do. So I can't really blame these animals. And I'm not trying to sound like an activist at all, but you can't really blame animals for more people encounters because Idaho is getting populated. So
it is getting populated, man.
You're right. So there's going to be more hunters in the woods, in the timber. There's going to be more traffic throughout the wildlife places. So is the statistics of encounters going to go up? Well, absolutely, man. That's not rocket science. I don't need to be a scholar or a 4-year grad biologist to understand this. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're in the woods long enough, if you're in the timber long enough, you're going to see shit. So,
I think that's a big reason as to why, Shane, when you get like on social media and you have like these management type conversations and debates going on in like the comments section. And some people just get flat out obnoxious, but you know who you never hear from? The fucking wildlife biologists. Why don't they chime in on some of that stuff? Like
I have no idea.
I went to this meeting last fall where they're like, oh, well, the mountain lions are the ones killing all the elk calves or whatever. And they had this big poster set up. And I'm like, me and a couple other guys who were in there, and these are guys that are in the woods all the time. We have cameras. We run, we come across these kill sites. You could always tell the difference between a lion kill versus a wolf kill. And I'm sorry, that information that you're putting on that board is incorrect. I get 100 wolves on a camera to my one mountain lion. So you're telling me that the calf predation is from mountain lions over wolves? I call bullshit on that. And I'm sorry. The evidence speaks to the exact opposite of that. And I don't know what the motivation is for these management agencies to try to blow smoke up our ass. Why the fuck are they saying that?
I have no idea.
What's the motivation? Why do they want to, put one predator on a pedestal? Is there politics behind that? Is there because I don't understand why they're saying that, because it's not right. And anybody that spends enough time in the woods knows that that's inaccurate information, including all my trapping buddies that were at that meeting. And everybody's everybody's questioning the biologists. Like, why are you saying the mountain lions are the biggest predator factor here? They're not. They're absolutely, hands down, without a doubt, they are not.
They take the rap for it for a lot of things. I think a lot of it has to do, this is just my opinion, is that the reintroduction of the timber has been a problem. They've known it's been a problem. They just won't admit it.
Yeah.
And what happens when people can't take the blame? They want to put it somewhere else. And so I think the biggest problem with that is they want to put the problem somewhere else besides exactly where it's at. I mean, that's the most political answer you can get. I mean, politics start a lot of things, and I think there's a lot of political motivation between a lot of the federal animals, and I'll go right back to it. I mean, there's bigger problems in Idaho besides bear.
I love that point too, man.
There really is, and I would like to see more of a deer population. I would like to see more of an elk population. I would like to see less tag. I really would. I mean, I buy 2 tags every year as a non-resident tag. I'll buy a non-resident tag just for the simple fact that it's less expensive for me to go down in Utah or Montana to shoot one. So I buy one.
Yeah,
I don't feel it. But I buy it, so, and whether I kill it or not, that's good. I mean, I don't know. I look at things. I mean, we don't buy beef. Everything that I take, we eat, so, and I don't ever, the wife's always like, hey, our freezer's full. I got 2 more tags. No, you're done. It's like,
that'd be a bind. You got to get another freezer, dude. That's the only solution. Cool. But going back to what you were saying, I think about which, by the way, I love your point that there are much bigger conservation wildlife management issues to tackle in the state of Idaho than worrying about the black bear hunts. I'm sorry, that's just not something we need to be working on solving. Fix the freaking salmon issue in the Snake River in Clearwater and all that before you start worrying about black bears. I mean, good Lord, we got black bears. And if I had 7 garbage cans in my front yard, I'd have 7 black bears in them. They're just, it's not a problem. So but going back to what your point was from that standpoint of, hey man, does your wife make you a cocktail? Look at this.
No.
Look at that. Thanks, babe.
Oh, man.
See, man, thanks, honey. But,
mine's empty.
Do you need to take a break to fill yours up?
Hey, Gina, where's my whiskey?
I always time it right. I know about it. Like if I know she's going to have one, I know about how long she's going to take to drink it. And then I'll text her. I'll be like, hey, since you're filling it up.
She's in the other room. She's probably in there doing homework with the kids. So I won't give her too much.
There you go. Do you guys homeschool still? Or are you doing your kids
they're back. Huh?
Your kids are going in town, right? Because you're where are you again? Like Kuskia?
Yeah, and we may start back up again, there's some things we agree with. There's things that we don't. But it's I don't know. It's tough for her, for 4 kids, and and then
totally.
Me too, So, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe we might start back up again. We've been, thinking about it. There's more options that way. And Idaho's really pro homeschool. So
totally, man. It's way.
It's one of those things that it's getting real close again.
You were talking about how great it was. I was taking the kids elk hunting. It's because they homeschool. Yeah. We homeschool, so they that's what I can do. We have the luxury of they go with me when I go on some of these hunts, and I would argue that they, not that they don't do actual schoolwork and curriculums and all that shit, but they learn a lot going with me, just going and listening to elk scream their heads off while we're, calling them in or whatever. So, that's the point I wanted to get back to real quick, that what you said and what we were talking about in terms of bear management and predator management and stuff like that. If you think of Idaho and the populace here, they're pretty pro hunting. If all of a sudden they put on the ballot, they're like, hey, should we ban hunting in the state of Idaho? Yes or no? It'd be like a 99.5% no. Hell no. It would be like a hell no. In fact, you'd probably have people down at the Capitol in Boise there, with torches and shit.
Oh yeah, you start a revolution, man.
Yeah, you'd start a revolution. So you have that aspect of it, and what we were talking about, what's like the outside influences in politics and all that kind of stuff. What do you think is going to happen in like Colorado with like the nature of their political climate? When like these wolves start ripping apart the elk populations and killing cattle and destroying herds of sheep, because Colorado's big into these sheep will go up and graze on BLM and Forest Service land, and man, they're sitting ducks, man, for wolves. And so you're going to have a lot of those conflicts and those problems. And I was talking earlier about I felt kind of like betrayed in a sense by the IDFG when they were at this meeting trying to tell me that mountain lions were the big predation issue. How is that going to be like spun in Colorado, in a state that's not as pro, like their Fish and Wildlife, agency is not as pro hunting as Idaho's, and Idaho's, let's face it, you don't get much better than Idaho from a standpoint of these guys they are pro hunting. They are focused on the fact that the way we manage our wildlife is through hunting. Other states don't have that. And so do you think there's going to be a lot of like actual legitimate misinformation, not like fucking Joe Biden COVID-19 misinformation that's not actual misinformation? I mean like real misinformation that is fed to the general public there?
I think so, man, because how are you going to cover that up? Because it's going to be full on. All you need to do is have a couple hundred in that area. You're going to have full-blown massacres. That's just what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
For
a couple of reasons.
Oh, yeah. It's
like
populated. They have more elk herds than we do. They have it's just like a buffet down there. You know what I mean? So,
and the elk and the elk and the deer and the everything else, they don't know to be afraid of wolves. They don't know. No. Like a herd of mule deer does will kick the shit out of a coyote if that's coming into a fawn. I've seen it on video. They will kill a coyote. They can't do that to wolves. And these animals have no idea what's coming. So
no, they're just setting ducks. They really. It's going to be a free for all for a while. I did notice that with that introduction deal, and I haven't really kept up on a lot of it, but I thought that they had asked Idaho, IDFG, for some of the, to transplant some wolves down there, and we turned them down. I think a couple of states did.
Yeah, Montana said no. Wyoming said no. I don't know if they actually asked Idaho because I think they assumed that we'd say no. I keep saying we, dude. I live in Montana now, so I got to quit saying that. But I've been in Idaho most of my life, dude. So it's really weird that I can look out my window and I see Idaho, but I don't actually live there. So I gotta like change the way I say that.
It's so close.
It's so close. I could throw a rock. Like if I have an Idaho deer tag, I could probably get way up in a tree stand and kill a deer in Idaho from Montana. And so it's not out of the question. But anyways, they did finally, it sounds like they finally convinced Oregon. Oregon is working on trapping up to 10 wolves, and they're going to bring the wolves down to Colorado and put them in like the Vail, Vail Gunnison type area, but they're like they're kind of being vague about where they're going to release them, but it's kind of like a centralized location, and 10 wolves is going to be 100 wolves in less than 3 years. And then when you consider the fact that wolves breed at a rate of roughly 40% to 43% in a year, 100 wolves turns into 1,000 wolves very quickly. And so, yeah, what was that?
Especially for, they're going to breed on the amount of food they have, which is abundant. So,
oh man, they're going to be super wolves, man.
Oh yeah. It's not going to be good. And go figure, Oregon be the one to get in, right? So,
yeah, they're all like, they're requesting gender fluid wolves. So maybe they don't get as aggressive on the elk. Maybe that'll happen.
Unreal.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I know, man.
Okay. You looked. The look on your face was like, "Oh, really? A gender fluid, like a gender neutral wolf or some shit." Like,
well, I was thinking, it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually was the headline.
Colorado, we are looking for gender neutral wolves to come in so they won't fuck with everything. That's not a bad idea.
That could be the podcast title.
There you go, man. I'm full of ideas.
Gender neutral predators.
I told you. I warned you, man. You're going to get me on. You're going to get a bunch of nasty messages now.
No more than what I always get.
No, totally. I love it. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. But yeah, so Oregon, they're working on getting the wolves lined up. It sounds like they're going to try to get 10 wolves down into Colorado by sometime this winter. And the thing is there's already a pack of wolves, if not 2 packs of wolves in Colorado that have migrated out of that Yellowstone region, Greater Yellowstone. Oh, yeah. It's really not that. If you've ever been from like Yellowstone to the Utah border, that range that runs into kind of like the Uinta Mountain Range in northern northeastern Utah, there's wolves there. There's nothing to stop them. It gets a little desolate once you get past down south of Afton or whatever and start rolling into towards Utah. But it's desolate, meaning it's real sagebrush, open country. You can watch your dog run away for 3 days, kind of thing, because it's so like open. But it's still, wolves don't have any problem. Wolves are a plains animal as well as a mountain animal. They used to roam the plains in the Midwest and all that kind of stuff. So it's nothing for them to cross that kind of country and slip right into Utah and Colorado. Yeah. So
they'll adapt easily, and they're going to find food. I mean, if they can cruise 20 miles in a day, that's nothing, I mean, that's what people don't understand they're just on the move all the time,
They're on the move, and then they split up. You get all these male pups that break off from the herd, and they split up. They're not going to stick around because those alpha males in that particular pack of wolves is going to kick them out of the group. And they're going to go find their own group, and they're going to start their own groups. They're going to breed, and then those pups are going to split up, and that cycle just keeps going and going and going. And those territories, they're super territorial. So this is why, where they release wolves is really weird in Idaho. The unit, I believe it's Unit 10, the Zolo, I'm going to totally draw a blank on what unit this is. The Lolo unit. I was going to say,
right here.
Right by you. So that elk herd. Yeah. And that elk herd that ran that Lolo zone, which used to be a really good area,
used to be the best in the country,
is north of 90% in terms of elk reduction. Because the elk, like what they're going to see in Colorado, and I don't mean to make this whole thing about wolves, man, but I get fucking pissed about this wolf situation. I get mad because of these people that don't have any sense of reality as to what happens on the ground. But in the Lolo unit, that region is north of 90% fewer elk today than they were in 1995. And so, so riddle me that shit. Like what else are you going to tell me that mountain lions came in or like they released maybe there's still a rogue Tyrannosaurus Rex from the olden days killing all the elk. Like where the fuck did these elk go? UFOs abducted them? No, it was wolves. And it's because they didn't know how to react to wolves. And this is real thick country up in there. Well, and these wolves can slip right in on these elk. They get a bunch of snow. The elk or the wolves float right on top of that snowpack. They could cruise at 30, 40 miles an hour. And these elk, these are 800-pound animals. They're not floating on top of that snowpack, so they can't get away from them. And so it's just the whole wolf thing is just a shit show. And this is coming from a guy like Shane. I don't want 100% extermination of wolves, right? I don't want to, and I've said this a million times on my show. Wolves do make the landscape a little bit more authentic and a little bit more wild. I like that. I like the wildness of them. What I don't like is the politics involved in wolves and how you get these activist groups that act like wolves need to be put up on a pedestal above every other species. And no matter who else gets fucked, well, I won't say that. This is your show. I'll watch my mouth. No matter what other species gets screwed over.
Yeah. As
long as the wolves are good, right? And we just need to protect them above everything else. That's where I draw the line from a wildlife management standpoint is these wolves have to have some kind of interactive human management. And it needs to be through hunting and trapping because that's the only thing that, like Alaska and Canada has proven this. The only way to manage these animals is through hunting and trapping. Quit fucking around and acting like this is 150 years ago. And like there's no highways, there's no freeways, there's no towns, there's no urbanization, there's no railways, there's no reservoirs, dammed up rivers, all these things that affect the habitat, to think that they can go out and manage themselves. You're an idiot. They've never managed themselves. These animals have never managed themselves. We have something called Native Americans that have been here for, millennia managing these animals. And so to say that, and Yellowstone National Park just proves this, dude. I feel like I'm just talking your ear off, man. Should I stop?
No, but these are all valid points that people need to know. Because we're thinking the exact same thing as where these positions are. It's the truth.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's just
we don't need to be biologists to understand this, because we're hunters and we're out here seeing it every day.
And that doesn't even matter. The biologists tried to give the Wildlife Commission in the state of Washington all the information on spring bear hunting, and they said Washington has got a very robust, very healthy population of bears. Very few lactating sows get killed during the spring bear hunt. They are totally fine to hunt. Don't shut the hunting season down. And what did they do? These anti-hunting, pro-predator wackos on the commission. Not all of them. There's some good ones on the Washington Commission, by the way. I'm not talking shit about all of them, but there's like 3 or 4 of them that are absolutely anti-hunting, pro-predator activists, and that's why they did away with the spring bear hunt in the state of Washington, because the science that you always hear, like the liberal left, follow the science, but they don't follow the fucking science. They follow some numbnuts, some fucking fuckwittery that comes out of some liberal nut job's mouth and act like that's okay. Like give me a break. That's not a fact. That's not science. You shut down spring bear, you idiot. You have one of the best populations in the entirety of the lower 48 states. And now those bears are going to become a problem.
They are, man. And I do. I mean, in the property that I hunt in Washington, I see bear all the time. So instead of them coming out, and you can kill 2 bear in Washington, right? So here's my thing. If you can kill 2 bear in Washington, you just admitted that you have a problem. Maybe you don't have a problem, but you have an abundant number that you need to get under control.
Yeah. It's not a problem, but they are. It's a very healthy population.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, having that resource to be able to shoot bear, so my thing to the guys that's wanting to hunt bear, which you can be very effective of hunting bear in the fall also. So my thing to all the Washington guys that want to hunt that, I mean, I filled both my bear tags in Washington for several years, so it's like, just go there and kill them both in the fall. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how you want to act, then by God, we're going to hunt 2 of them in the fall, so, but also
Exactly.
It takes away from, deer hunting and elk hunting. But I mean, you could incidentally kill it then, but there's a lot of old fruit trees, and in Washington, in those canyons. So, and they just, it's good hunting, and they have big bear, man. They have big bear there.
They do. They have some big, healthy bears. How's your homestead doing, man?
Man, it's like anything,
I don't know what
slow.
you said. I don't know what you said that made me think of that, but like it just popped into my head. I'm sorry. I kind of derailed us.
Yeah. We got a wild pig running around here someplace.
Do you really? Dude, you should sauce that sucker. Are there any, I don't know if Idaho even has any regulations on wild hogs. Are there any wild pig regulations?
Oh, I think you can just shoot on sight, but I mean, it's just a Hampshire or whatever. We just got it running around. He's just a free range pig.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah. So get this. So, we got this thing to cause there was a lot of rattlesnakes, man. We, on this piece of property, I think we've killed a lot.
Oh, really?
I probably shouldn't even say how many.
That surprises me, man. We don't have any rattlers up here.
Oh, it's
like
horrible,
zero.
Man. Horrible.
Huh.
Like a lot. But that pig goes around and roots these things up, man. And it's like, he just
nice
in the summer. So
he's like a honey badger.
Yeah, man, he is. But he's going to be sausage here soon.
Oh, nice. That's cool, man. Yeah, we had to, we moved from our last homestead to this homestead now, and man, the lady that owned this homestead that we live on, the coolest old lady I've ever met in my life. One of the, I mean, she grew up on a homestead in Alaska, and her name's Annie, and she's she's knocking on 80's door. She couldn't take care of the place anymore, and so she moved out to be closer to her son. But that's how we ended up here. Is we kind of knew her, and kind of we got a really good deal on this place, and so it was like, okay, I guess we're moving to Montana, right? And so, but this lady, like a month before we bought it, we get grizzly here, and she's out there. The grizzly were coming after her chickens, and she runs out in like her slippers and a broom and chases this damn grizzly bear off her chicken coop, and is just whacking its ass with this broom and stuff, and I love that. One of the things I love about this life, is I think about people like Annie that have that kind of grit to live out here in the snow and the 4 seasons and the grizzly bears and the coyote. We got a major coyote problem. I'm going to work on that this winter. You think about some hipster in Seattle or some shit, and what supposed to be a grown man, what he would do if he saw a grizzly bear, and then you got little old Annie running out there in her slippers chasing one out with a broomstick, man. With a broom. She's pounding it on the broom, and the bear's going shit. And she said it wasn't a cub. I mean, this was like a mature boar. And and then when we bought it, I put my cameras on here, and he came through one time, and I've got this old timer dog named Trevor, and I put a few posts on the Instagram about Trevor, but he's 12 and a half, and he's about 110 pound lab, and he patrols. Yeah. And he doesn't have much life left, man, but he still gets a hankering to think that he is like the biggest, baddest mofo on the mountain. And he chased that grizzly bear off, and it hasn't been back since. So I don't know.
He's like, yeah, my land.
He did. He marked it up. He's not having it. I love it. So
That's awesome.
you guys garden do pretty good, or?
We did, man. We actually put in a greenhouse, and Gina worked that thing this year and did really well with it. Just tomatoes, zucchini, all kinds of stuff. Big cabbage. I mean, out the wazoo. So yeah, it was a good deal, man. I told her I would build it, and I didn't want nothing to do with it. I'll do the killing, you do the veggies.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is here. I don't do the gardening, man. I just like my wife makes me go out there and pull weeds and whatever. But because we moved, our garden wasn't anything this year. We feel naked because we didn't have a productive garden. But for those of you guys listening and don't know, Shane's homestead, man, is way cool. Up on that hill and just really good exposure. And I love the way you put it all together with the shop and a bow archery section and, and the living quarters on the one side. It's just cool, man. It's a cool setup. I've always been jealous of it since the first time I saw it.
Man, it's coming along. It's slow, like anything, timing, right? So, but it's one of those things like we live in how we want to live, and not really let anybody dictate that,
Yeah.
Stay happy. Don't let money or politics bother us. You know what I mean? As far as that's concerned, we tell them both to go fuck off. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
Just
how do you think? Like, describe. I know this is your show. I'm not supposed to be asking questions. Is it cool if I ask you another question?
Come on, man.
All right, man. Like when you think about that and what you're talking about from like this self-reliance sense, like we live how we want, and my wife and I are the exact same way, man. We live how we want. I don't care what some politician's opinion is or whatever. We're gonna pursue our own destiny, kind of thing. But it's a hard lifestyle too. It's not easy. And so when you think about where we're at as a society, and you have all these like grown men that are supposed to be, I don't know how to put that without being like, I don't purposely try to be overly offensive, but I think about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Grown men that are supposed to be providers for their family, but yet also they are so self-reliant on like the system. Do you think that that's had like some level of like a negative impact on what it means to be a man and what it means to be a free soul living in a country that is supposedly free? Is this making sense?
Yeah, it is, man. I think a lot of that has to do with just way society. I mean, I have these conversations, seems like almost daily. Most of it has to deal with hunting because that's the industry I'm in, right? But it's one of those where, hey, man, what has changed? Well, I think technology's changed a lot of it. Technology, as in social media, YouTube, just the whole presence of everything being at your fingertips. It's not meant to degrade anything because I think technology in some sense is great, but also makes you lazy and it makes you forget where you come from. It makes you forget your DNA roots. So it really makes you not a man. It makes you just really rely on what's easiest. And I think that that's the thing. So some folks wanted to go out and just, do their own thing and homestead and live life how they want to live. This isn't remote enough for me. I could be back in Alaska somewhere. I've been telling the wife that for years. Like, I just want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I like people. I like my core people that I can talk with. You know what I mean? Folks like us, think along the same thing. And my core people get smaller and smaller every year.
Me too, man.
And it's
me too.
Because I just can't relate to people that and it's not about. I'll value anybody's opinion, whether I think it's wrong or not, but because everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? But some of those opinions just don't make sense. You know what I mean? It don't make sense to me, as far as that. And it's mostly like, I mean, we're in what? Are we in Gen X? We're Gen X, right? So
yeah, I'm Gen X. I saw a meme where there was like this baby drinking a Coors Light that had the years lined out for Gen X, and apparently I was born in that. I just turned 43 the other day, man.
Oh, 43. Oh shit, I'm almost 50. So
oh yeah, no, I can tell. I could tell that the reason why my beard is not as dignified as yours is because I would be totally gray. And so I keep mine pretty trimmed out. Like you have good genes, dude. Like you don't have enough gray in your beard to worry about it. I would look like fucking Santa Claus, dude.
well, it's like, I don't know, man. It just comes to answer your question. I think it just comes to, we've been not self-reliant enough and relying on other, if that makes sense,
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I don't see it getting any better. It's not going away anytime soon. You know what I mean? So it's probably just going to get worse. And I say that as about as positive as I can be.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's that song. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's like that song that came out with the redheaded guy. Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yeah. Richmond, north of Richmond. What the hell's it? Oliver Anthony or something like that.
Oliver Anthony. Yeah. It's old soul in a new world. So I kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
I feel that way a lot. When I'm digging through, I made that old post with that old bison that I shot years ago, and I was like, man, I didn't even have a beard then. It's like, I've been at this game a long time. It's like, just goes back to what you were saying, to dignify and stuff. Is like most people, all they know is what's right at their fingertips. If they didn't have a cell phone to capture a picture, they're fucking lost, or a cell phone to do this or do that. I don't know, man. It's
providing for the family is ordering Uber Eats kind of thing, and I don't know. It's
keeping
so,
with the Joneses.
Yeah, man. They're financed to the hills with these $100,000 trucks, and I cannot believe how much trucks cost, man. Because I'm thinking about getting a different truck, and I've never bought I take that back. I did buy one brand new truck years ago when I was in the Marines. You know how when you're in the Marines and they station you out there, and that like all the car dealerships around there, they're ready to take advantage of young dudes, and I fell for one of those. But anyway, I can't believe what they charge for trucks anymore. It's funny you say that, man. I almost hate using the term, but we are like kindred spirits, because I like that song because of that exact line. I'm an old soul living in a new world. And the rest of it, there's some good parts. I love how he talks shit about, all these fat fucking welfare recipients that buy their Doritos or chocolate whatever bars on welfare and all that. I agree with that. I agree with all of that. And but what really struck me was that old soul living in a new world. And I've always kind of felt like that. And I feel like, you always see that meme running around on social media where it's like, hard times create hard men, and hard men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. That whole thing. And if you look at like the trajectory of world history and humanity in general, that's exact. That kind of plays out that way. It's not like some cliche-ish thing. It actually plays out that way.
It's true. It's true. Shit. I mean, one of the hardest men I knew was my granddad. You probably know that too. You probably say the same
me too,
thing.
Man.
Went through the war, and it's like seeing the shit, and like they were hard men. Just.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when you said something, or when he said something, you listened and you didn't
Yeah,
question it. Is the truth, that
it's the
was the
truth.
gospel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
because there was credibility with that experience back then. There
oh
was
yeah,
this level of credibility that our grandpas had. They
yeah,
went through World War II. My grandpa was in the Korean War with the 11th Airborne. And the 11th Airborne, I don't even think that exists anymore. But it was a thing in the Korean War.
yeah.
I listen to stuff like that, and I also I like history, man. Like I pay attention to it, and if you look back through like ancient Rome and Greeks and the philosophers in ancient Greek and shit, they were talking about the breakdown of their society because of this weird obsession with sexuality and gender. And all these things,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it started breaking their societies down, and there was like this mix up of this traditional role of men and women, and this is where we can get real controversial. But I like the difference between men and women because they have strengths and weaknesses that rely on each other. And people try to mesh that shit together so much that like you don't have like that's the beauty in a marriage is the differences
Mhm.
between men and women, not the similarities, not the competition of who's providing more and who does more and who's tougher or whatever. It's the differences that make a marriage beautiful. And so, sorry, dude, I go down rabbit holes, especially when I drink whiskey.
Hey, you're making me tear up, man.
Oh man, that's kind of stuff. I just think it's lost these days, man. I can go on for a long time about it, but it's lost.
What is, man? There's a lot of things that's lost.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you say, it's like I don't know how you I don't know how you could fix it. I don't even know how you would begin to fix it.
I think I do, man. I do, and that's what I'm worried about. Is it's not like a couple of old crusty guys like you and I getting together and chatting about what the problems are that is going to fix it. What's going to happen is something catastrophic is going to happen, and it's going to require men to strengthen up, and that's what's going to fix it. And I hate to say that because I'm not a doomsdayer, and I'm kind of a prepper, I guess, but I don't have like a bunker and shit. I just, but I'm ready. Maybe we should, right? Like I'm ready. If shit goes down and we lose our supply chains or something, my wife and I and our kids, we're going to be fine, man. We got things handled, but it's not that. And I don't like advocate for that, but I do think that is going to be something, like COVID was like this minor interruption in life. It's going to be way worse than that, and it's going to be something real, not fabricated, and it's going to be something that is probably involves conflict and all these things. And I think that that's what's going to adjust the thing that is masculinity. And it's going to be observed that masculinity is a good thing, and that's what protects and creates peace and prosperity and longevity in societies. As
you don't get peace other than anything through strength.
Exactly.
That's the only thing.
Exactly. You've got to be strong, and then that's you and I we were in the Marines. We were willing to do things that a lot of people are not willing to do. And I don't talk about that part of my life all that much, but it's a concept that I felt it was my duty to try to be a warrior. And I think that that's been lost on our society.
Well, it is, but just to take that one step back is like, I was pretty young and naive when I enlisted, but if I stop and I think about things now, 20-some years later, 30 years later, almost.
God, don't age yourself, brother.
I know. Like, you look at things and you're like, man, I was pretty naive. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I mean, you and I think there's a lot of us, like even people that never went to war, or even served, for that matter. They would fight for their country, but I think a lot of us that go in and enlist, we think we're fighting for our country, but we're not. We're fighting for some other politician's agenda.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like.
Yep.
I don't like that.
I don't either, man.
I won't stand for that anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's one of the things that I feel like now that you always get a little wiser as you get older. And I feel like, man, politicians have done nothing except do the exact same thing since the day they docked a boat on this land. And it all started then, And it's
yeah, man.
Since when do men need to govern over other men? I mean, just be a good moral person and keep your compass on tack. You know what I mean?
There is, like, if you look back through history, there are things that are justifiable in terms of war,
Sure.
Ending the Holocaust, freeing the slaves, creating a new country for the sake of freedom for all men, and how all men and women are created equal. Right. There's those kind of things, but you're telling me, like, and this is how I look at it, because I have the same thought you do. I went to fucking Iraq. Why did I go through that? Like, why did I go through that? Why did I have uncles that went through Vietnam? I have a grandpa that went through the Korean War. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the politicians that created that shit.
Yeah.
And I have such a mixed feeling on it, because terrorism is absolutely unacceptable. And that's, one of the reasons I joined the Marines was to protect and defend my country, but when I joined, terrorism wasn't even a thing. That happened halfway through my enlistment. And then all of a sudden, shit got real. But, when I was in Iraq, we weren't fighting to stop terrorism. There was like other things going on, man. I don't,
oh, yeah.
And people might get upset with me saying that, but like, why was I there? Why? Because the politicians that put me in that situation, they've never spent a night in a fighting hole where they're soaking wet from sweating in a desert all day, but then the temperature drops to 33 degrees at night, and you don't have your feet are like freezing because you don't have that. You're in a fucking desert, so you don't think to have all this winter gear. And like the politicians, they never go through that. They don't know what it's like to eat goddamn MREs for months on end and not have a shower for months on end, and like put your life at risk and have these explosions go off in your freaking ears. So now I'm deaf at 43. They don't go through that. They don't, the people that manage all that, they didn't go through that. Why did we go there? And it's just, I don't know. For some reason, you caught me on a night, man. I think I just drove home from Missoula today, and I was thinking about a lot of shit tonight. I was getting a little bit fired up on the drive, and then we get home and jump on to record this.
Well, it's all the truth, man. You just never know where things are going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's real life shit, brother. Real life shit.
Yeah, it really is.
And there's more and more people that think like us than what we think, or what people think,
Yeah, I think so too.
And the biggest problem is just unity. That's all it is. It's all it's ever been.
What do you mean by that? It's all it is just unity. What do you mean?
Just being able to unite people. Get them on the same page, let them understand things. There's always seems like there's always something that wants to like get in your way, whether it's like social media or throw out a survey, a precursor on a survey that's coming up. It's like trying to get this guy against this guy and this guy against that guy. That's what I mean. It's like,
do you ever?
I feel like there's always something that stands in the way of the ultimate goal. And I mean, I'm big on this proponent of saying, it's like there's nothing monumental in life that's ever done alone. Nothing.
Oh, totally. I agree with that. Yeah.
And there's people that just don't understand that concept. I mean, you can be balls to the wall, and I'm like, we strive for success and want to work until we get to where we want to be in life. But like, there's always something else in the way. That's what I feel like. Is like as far as unity, it's I don't know, man. There's a lot of negative. There's a lot of positive, and there's a whole lot of bullshit.
Yeah, man. I, mean? I think you nailed it, man.
And somewhere in between, people are fighting over the bullshit. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you and I can get on social media and look like that is a fake motherfucker right there, and I don't know how the fuck he killed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. Almost every day, man. Almost every day. Oh, I'm an influencer. Yeah. Look at this animal. In fact, sometimes, Shane, I wonder if shit like that bear survey is not deriving out of like some of these fucking people that live for the Instagram and they just want to be able to get easier access to grip and grins to post, people might roll their eyes by hearing that, but like, I don't think like social media is that important. And I love your point about unity. And the fact,
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And there's this lack of unity, and it's because, we live in this society where between the media and social media and all this like digital interaction, it's like, it's made things competitive where they shouldn't be competitive. And so we have like people that are, if you disagree with one little thing, like I swear there are like the Democrat Party is super successful because they have this like this pro-choice side of it, and pro-life isn't popular or whatever. I think that's why a lot of Democrats vote for Democrats, because Democrats, if you strip out shit like those little social nuances, like abortion and that kind of stuff, who the fuck would agree with that stuff? It's not like the days of JFK. Like, do you think JFK could get elected today as a Democrat? Hell fuck no, man. He would be canceled so quick your head would spin. But yet Ronald Reagan would be a freaking superstar in today's GOP. And so who's changed? Who's changed? And I don't mean to make this political, but it's the point remains that it's these little things like people think that one little disagreement or a difference of opinion makes it so that you have to hate that individual. Like, I'll give you a great example, dude. Like you and I, you are one of the most prolific bow hunters that I know. And I respect the hell out of you because of the way, how effective you are with a bow. I'm not. I archery hunt when it is the most beneficial for what I'm pursuing. For example, I don't know how to hunt elk with a rifle because they don't scream. So I hunt them with a bow. That's what I do. It's the most efficient way for me to kill an elk is with a bow. And that's because of the timing of the season and all that. But I love a good rifle hunt too, man. I love to go out and kill something with a rifle. And I'm really good with a rifle. And it's just something I forgot because I was starting to get real, archery only focused for a few years. But man, I realized a few years ago, damn, man, I'm good with a rifle, and I can reach like remember the old school AT&T ads. I could reach out and touch them. I could do that, and so it's a good time and it's fun and I enjoy it. It's a different experience. Does that mean that you hate me because sometimes I use a rifle, or I hate you because you use a bow on a bear and I can't kill? I've never killed a bear with a bow, man. I'd love to. But I've never done it. I just haven't done it. And so that was kind of a dumb example because I know, you're kind of like me in that way, but it's stuff like that. There's hunters out there, they tear each other apart because they disagree with like the method of pursuit or the method of chase, the method of take, rifle versus bow versus muzzle loader versus crossbows and all this shit people get hung up on. And that is derived out of social media. That didn't happen in the 80s and 90s. Like, we didn't give a fuck back then. Nobody talked about that. So
no,
that's what we've got to fix for this unity thing.
Well, it is, man, because people just bash the shit out of it. And who do you think wins when they see that? You think
The anti-hunters
like,
win.
Fuck yeah, they do. And they look at that and they're like, oh yeah, let's put a little bit of ear. Let's feed fishing. Let's feed them. Let's feed this state. And that's what they do. But people aren't smart enough to hear that. We're smart enough to see it because we see it. We've been around and see this shit. But it's like that's exactly where things get started, I think. And I hate it, you know. Actually, that bucket that I shot, and we're out there skinning it, and Gina's like, man, this thing reeks. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
I'll run it up.
He's like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
He's like, you know what? These goddamn gripping goods, you know, it's like, why don't you just start shooting does?
Yeah.
She's like,
well, I'm going to go after a cow here in 2 weeks, cow elk. And I have no shame, man. I will gladly shoot a cow elk. I have a great tag for it. I have a great spot for it. I don't care. I'm not after a trophy.
Well, that's the thing is like, I think even for young, you know, they go out in some of these units, the parents put them in for these trophy units. And it's great. I mean, I think it's great. I think everybody, even myself, I love a good trophy. There's no doubt about it. But the same sense,
absolutely.
Like, there's not one behind every tree, and they're getting farther and farther, few between, as the years go past. You know, so for me, I've gotten to the point. It's like, you know what? I just would rather take the animal that's presented to me and go from there. You know, instead of trying to, you know, oh man, I killed this one, but I was hoping for bigger. Nope, I killed what I shot, and I'm happy about it. You know, like, you know, it's that thing. I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher to get good trophy unit hunts, and it's, I don't know, man. It's I don't know what the answer is. You know, other than, you know, there's I don't think the management is there on a lot of it, you know.
I think having a lot of conversations like these is always helpful, because I think when you get a couple of guys like you and I on that, we share a perspective, and I think we'd be surprised as to how many people actually agree with that. I've always found that, man. Sometimes, like on my show, I'll say what I perceive as like some seriously controversial shit. And then all of a sudden I'll get like 200 emails of people that are like, man, I love what you said there. You know, and it's like, okay, so it's not that controversial. It's like what people think and how people feel. And I think that having conversations like this and, you know, and getting listener feedback on stuff like that is really beneficial to everybody, because then we're all starting to feel like we're not alone in how we feel. And we start feeling like we have like a tribe we can attach ourselves to. And that's what we need. Like, you know, I've like you know, I've gone after trophies. I've killed some big ass deer. I've killed some decent elk. I've never killed like a monster bear. And I've never killed like a monster whitetail. I've killed some big whitetail, but never like a 160 plus, you know. I'm right on the edge there, and whitetail are like the bane of my existence, man. They really, they fuck. Yeah. I get so close. Dude, and I love them for it. But you know, I'm also pretty dang happy if I just knock over a little 3.5-year-old whitetail buck and load the freezer up. I you know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to not kill something because I want something giant to post on social media. Fuck that. We don't need to do that anymore as hunters.
No. And that's where a lot of people have gotten bad, because everybody wants to be Insta famous anymore. And what people don't realize is that, you know, it's, brands, I mean, I know from experience, man, brands don't give two fucks. If you can't sell that product, you're useless. Yeah. So, you know, like you think, I don't know, man. It's like, I just don't understand where the money comes from anymore. You know,
I don't either.
TV is dying. And big names are really having to work hard because they're getting cut. So it's, things aren't working the way it used to be. I mean, it really isn't.
Part of that is Biden economics or whatever. Bidenomics, is that what they call it? You know, when you think about the fact that we're still paying $4 for a fucking gallon of gas, come on, give me a break. You're still voting for Biden? Come on.
Yeah, I know, man.
Lunacy.
Lunacy. Started on that baboon.
Yeah, man. Well, brother, I probably better jump off here pretty quick because I've been gone since early this morning. My wife hasn't seen me all day, and I haven't seen her, and we kind of like each other.
Oh yeah, I know. Let's conclude this with both of us have a good bit to deal with Hoffman boots. And,
man.
Jim's having an awesome sale over there, 15% off for Black Friday. It's running from November 23rd through the 28th. So I'm gonna get this thing edited and get it out there for hopefully everyone. We'll just dedicate this show to Hoffman's. Hopefully they don't fire us.
Right, man. No, Jim has been like, he supports my show. He supports your show. Let me tell you something, man. I took the guy hunting one time and I was so hopeful I'd call a bull in for him. I totally failed. Where'd you go? I lost your video, brother. But, there you are. Anyways, what I want to say with that is Jim has probably cringed on some of my episodes with some of the stuff I've said, and he stuck with me, man. And like, he stuck with you. And I just got my Mountaineers that you and I were talking about the other day. Absolutely fantastic boots, man. Especially if any of you listening are on like a homestead or something, spend a lot of time in the woods, maybe in the winter. Holy crap, dude! These are awesome boots. And I've been, I don't know. I would say that I've had several pairs of Hoffmans, right? I probably put either close to or over 1,000 miles with my Hoffmans over the years. It's over a decade. And, it's a family of shoemakers that dates back generations. And I don't know. I can't justify some of these bigger name brand boots that, they're asking $400, $500, $600 for them when my Hoffmans outperform them and they last longer. So, that's just my 2 cents, man. I love them.
It's just salty there, people.
Yeah. People is what it's all really about, man.
Oh, it is. And, and we're right here in Idaho, it's, they're pack boots, they're upper leather, made right there at the shop, in Kellogg. So, he's got a good deal going, 15% off, man. That's
like their Black Friday deal.
Yeah, that's their Black Friday. It's a BF 2023 is the code.
Sweet.
So you get 15% off. So good deal going. That's off of everything. Store Wild.
What was the code, man? You cut out there. So BF.
Oh, BF 2023.
BF 2023. Yeah, I'm not kidding you, Shane. I can't say enough good things about Hoffman. I don't say that just simply because, they sponsor our 2 different platforms here but it literally is, it's just a great boot that is run by like world-class people. These are not a bunch of wokesters running around, creating trouble for the future of America. This is an American company with an American dream, producing American quality. And
100%.
Yeah, get you some Hoffmans, guys.
Heck yeah, he's got some new boots out too, man. He's got
which ones? Those the Summits or the other ones?
No, so he's got like a Ranger. He's got the women's.
My girls all have the women's, the Explorers.
Yeah,
and they're badass. I love them. The girls love them.
And then he's got a Kodiak that's coming out. He's got like 4 different brands, 4 different new boots coming out. With like some with a mid flex for working and hunting. So it's really cool.
That's awesome.
It's like he's brought everything out like right now, and I'm like, holy cow, man! I need some more feet.
Yeah, you do. That's the problem, man. You get all excited about all these different kind of boots, but the problem is I have these 2-year-old Hoffmans. They've been through 2 hunting seasons, and man, like there's nothing wrong with them. I don't need any new boots, but my feet do get cold real easy. So I bought those Mountaineers, those Hoffman Mountaineers.
Oh,
dude, these things, I'm stoked. They're badass boots, and any Mountaineer I've had in the past has always been like a little too narrow for my feet. I got these fat, waddling feet. Not these ones, man. They're perfect. I could put a couple of pair of like darn tough socks or some shit in them, and it feels like my feet are glued to the boot, and the boot is glued to the mountain. Yeah, I can go on and on about Hoffman.
It's good stuff. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna grab this pair right here of these new these Wranglers.
Yeah, I want to see them. Yeah, if you're gonna show them, I want to see them, man. And I'll keep talking. Like for hunters out there, if you're looking for an early season boot, those Hoffman Explorers in the 8-inch are really, really good. Oh, what do you have there?
So these are those the new Wranglers. So these are the slip-on for us lazy old farts.
Oh, I like those. It's almost like a mucking boot.
Yeah, so it's like a muck boot, man, and you got your liner on the inside, you know, and then
also they're warm. They're not cold like a mucking boot.
No. So you got your 200 or 400 or the 9mm felt, So, and then
look at the traction on those. Those are sweet, man.
Leather uppers here. So
you're gonna send those to me, right? That's size 11 right there.
Actually, they're size 12,
Oh, that's too big. What? That's too big for me.
I'll keep them. I'll let you know.
All right, you keep those ones. Yeah, I might. Maybe I'll order some of those because I do get sick of screwing up my regular nice boots, like cleaning out the chicken coop. That would be perfect for something like that.
Perfect homestead boots right here, man.
That is perfect. That screams homestead, especially like you said, the dudes that we get sick and tired of lacing up our boots. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to get, what are those called again?
They're called the Wranglers.
The Wrangler.
These are the new pack boot. Yeah.
All right. I'm writing it down. Wrangler boot.
Something easy to pull in and out. And I think these are like full retail for like $250. So, these will outlast any lacrosse muck boots that's out there. Hands down.
And that's the thing. That's what I was saying earlier. Like seriously, guys, I was just in like North 40 or something. They had these Crispies, and they had I can't remember the other brand. They were both north of $400. I don't think Explorers even cost that. Like Jim does a really good job at pricing these boots, and you're getting as good, if not better quality. I've never had a more comfortable boot than that Explorer. I would wear them every day.
Because a lot of the competitors don't even have the Vibram soles.
Yeah, exactly.
Vibrance. So,
which are like Italian made or something. Like they're super high end soles, and that's what I notice when I go hunting with other people. On those rare occasions, they're wearing some other competing brand, and they're slipping and sliding down the mountain. Where my Vibrams, man, I'm like glued.
Every time we sit down and pull our pants up to, tuck our, we really don't have to tie our shoe. We're like, put the brand out there, like, hey, this.
Yep. Check out the Hoffman. It's like it really is. It's one of my proudest sponsors. I love my Hoffman boots. Because I do not just peddle shit that I don't believe in.
Absolutely.
And so,
it's an Idaho company.
Yeah, exactly.
I love all the Idaho companies, right
there
in
brother.
Idaho, So, it's good. It's good to talk with you, Jim. And we'll have to catch up more often and slip on down. We'll chase some hounds and drink some good whiskey.
Anytime. Shit, brother.
Heck yeah, you and the family have a great Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, you as well, man. I hope you guys, just go into winter and have a great winter, and hope you've got plenty of bounty. And I know you do. You usually do. And you're one of my favorite people, man. Again, I don't say that lightly. So.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I want to get you on, man. We'll ruff some feathers and chew
Remember, nasty emails over this episode go to Shane, not Jim.
I welcome them all.
I love it.
Heck yeah, bud. Hey, will you take care, Jim? We're gonna get this podcast out, and don't forget the Hoffman Black Friday sales running from November 23rd to the 28th. BF 2023.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Hey, thank you. You bet. Take care, Jim.
You too.